Hi everybody, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So tonight I'm going to do another pearl pour, dirty pour, metallic canvas. So I wanted to try, I got a new paint, but it's the same brand, but it's the outdoor living one. So this came in a rose gold and I liked the colour. But I could only get it in this outdoor living, not in the other brand. So I thought, I'm going to try this and see if this creates the pearls as well. Because that opens up more doors for more colours, more styles. So I'm going to try this one. But in case the pearls don't show up in this, I also have added sky blue topaz and pink tourmaline. So there's going to be all these three colours, if you can see those three colours together, which should look good, but if only those two colours come up, then it will still look alright. This is kind of the test run for another brand, or well, not really brand, it's the same brand, it's just another product that they make. So we will see how this one goes. So that was at one of the places I buy my paints from, and I thought, why not? I haven't got a rose gold in the other normal metallics that I get. So that's the normal one I get, Americana Decor Metallics. This is Americana Decor Outdoor Living, which is a metallic as well. So I thought, let's hope and see if this turns out. And the extreme sheens, I know they do work. So I have mixed these up, but I've left them a little bit to settle to see what the consistencies are like, because I think this blue one is a little bit thicker than the other two colours. But sometimes when you mix them up straight away, they change a little bit as they settle in. So that one feels a little bit thinner than the blue. And this one here, so you always give them a good stir before, because they settle down and the pigments sink. And this one feels a little bit thinner again, I believe. It's not a lot of difference. Yeah, I think I need to add a tiny little bit more floetrol. So I use Australian floetrol. I just put it in one of these bottles to make life a little bit easier. So these three are all 15 grams paint and 15 grams floetrol. But I'm just going to add just a couple more, probably about 2 to 3 grams of floetrol, just to even them up. So it doesn't matter if they're a little bit slightly different thickness, but the pearls come up slightly different shape. So they stay more of a rounded shape if they're a bit thicker, and they can go a little bit what I call pebble shape, which is kind of round but a little bit not exactly like, you know how you get pebbles in a river and they're some are round, some are kind of a little bit odd shaped. So, which I don't mind either way, but I try to keep them more consistent. So if they're all round, all three colours are round. If they're all pebbles, then they're all pebbles. So it's just it's more just the way it looks. And you can't always tell exactly, because sometimes the consistencies feel very similar. But that's the three colours, and I think they'll look good together. Now, I have my black base paint, which is Marte Black, 70 grams paint and 140 grams floetrol. So, the reason I keep using black, I did one in a grey. I did do a video of it, but I didn't bother putting it up. As you can see, the pearls did show up, but they're really not noticeable in the grey as compared to the black. In the black, they really show up. This one here, they show up, but you got to get the right light. So if this is in a without having the light shine on it, it's actually quite dull. It's hard to explain. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but so it's satisfactory, but I think in the black they come out awesome. So keep that in mind. But I will try them in other colors, other colored backgrounds. It's just sometimes the paints can cost a little bit, so I don't mind experimenting a little bit, but I'll try another 1 or 2 colors to see how it goes. Maybe a nice navy blue would look good, but I'm gonna see how I go with just doing another black one, because I really want this one to turn out. So, here's the one with the blue and the silver. See how it does stand out more. Don't know if I can get the right light. It's hard because I can't see the camera. So that is what I'm going for. But this blue will be a lot more lighter. The pink tourmaline is a lighter pink. And this rose gold should always show up in a black. Should. Put these 3 down there. So there's my pouring cup. I try to use a paper cup so I can bend it and make a spout. Just makes it a little bit easier, but you don't have to, because I haven't in the past and it still worked out fine. So I am just going to move my paints out of my way. Now, I could just pour these straight into here, but I find sometimes it's a little bit better if I put about 1/3 in the bottom, and then I'm going to add 1 colour. Doesn't really matter because it's a dirty pour. So what you want to do is you want to hold this cup up high and let it fall in and smash into the paint so it kind of mixes right down to the bottom. That is the best way of doing it. So we will now, as the cup gets lower, it starts sitting on top. That's okay, as long as most of the paint gets down and sinks in. Now these pearl paints are a little bit precious, so try to scrape out what you can. Doesn't have to be every single drop, but just the majority of it. Nobody likes wasting good paint, especially these pearl colours. They're too awesome to leave in a cup. Okay, so that's that one. Now I'm going to pour another 1/3 of the black in. So as you can see, the rose gold still rises to the top a little bit. The bit that settles, that's fine. Most of it has sunk down. Now let's go the pink. Pink tourmaline. Can you hear that clunk in to the bottom? So when I do it this way, I want the colours to be a little bit mixed, but not very much. I like them to stay a little bit separate, because then you don't get multicoloured pearls. You kind of get sections which will be nice and pink, sections will be blue, and sections will be the gold. Kind of just creates interest, but you can do it whichever way you like. I teach my videos to show you what I'm doing. No one has to copy me exactly if you don't want to. This is the way we all make our own little styles on things. And I love to see people's videos or artwork. If you've done one, let me know that you've done one, and I'll have a look at it, because it's quite exciting to see someone go, I've tried to do mine the same as you and this is what I got, because really we're all going to get slightly different effects depending on what we're actually doing, what country we come from, if we're using the exact same products. So I often use a silver, but this blue topaz is a light blue, So this will show up quite well. So it's kind of like the silver. You should always try, especially if you're going to have a deep colour, should always try to have a colour that offsets that. So when I did like the sapphire, I used the silver. So that way it gave it extra interest having that silver there. Now we're just going to pour in the rest of the black. That's probably enough. Sometimes I just scrape a little bit onto the corners. And I'll move that so it doesn't get in my way. You don't have to do this part. I like to sometimes just cover that corner, because that corner can be a little bit more challenging to get to. More so because it's a rectangular canvas. If it was a square, it would be a little bit easier. And again, does not have to be perfect. I'm just covering the corner in case I don't get all the way to the very edge. And at least I know I've got some paint on it. So as you can see, I'm just doing it relatively roughly. Usually my paint will go over the edges anyway, but the paint was there. Why not use it up? Okay. Put my bigger cup there, my little cup over here. So always keep your blowtorch or your heat gun close by, because you want to get rid of the bubbles. And I always keep some tweezers in case you see a bit of thick dried paint coming off. You can just grab it before it messes up your pattern too much. And my paint scraper, so I can scrape the bottom so I don't get too much of the drips. Keep pulling my artwork. So even though my hands are already covered in paint, I'm going to put some gloves on, because I go to work the next day, and so many days I've got paint all over my hands. So gloves just minimize how much. Excellent. Now, can you see the pearls already developing in the cup? Really cool. So I think I'm going to get nice effects. So I'm just going to pinch this so it's a little bit of a spout. Now, when I pour it onto the canvas, I want to do it a little bit high so the paint is running like, it's hard to explain. You want the paint to kind of fall into it and go mix in underneath. If you get too much of the metallic sit on top, it doesn't create pearls. It kind of just creates like a shimmery coating. So if you get it to go berry, then it sinks underneath and then pops back up again as a pearl. So you'll see what I mean. So see how the paint's going in and under itself? Looks very, very black at the moment and not much colour. That is exactly what you want it to do. So I'm just going to hold this canvas. I just tilt it slightly if it looks like it's going one way more than the other. So all this metallic that is coming out the cup now is kind of sitting on top, and I can show you in a second what I mean once I remove my cup out the way. Because it's not going in at a heavy it's not going in and sinking underneath. It's sitting on top, but it's not too bad because it's only a little bit there. But if you have that with the whole painting, you end up just getting not any pearls, and you just kind of get a metallic sheen over the whole top of the canvas. Alright, that is enough. So see how there's a bit of gold sitting on top? But that's not too bad because it was the last bit. But all this has got pearl paint all underneath it. And we'll see some come up in a second once I start torching. I'm positive that my table is not completely level. So I put a pop stick underneath the two sides that I think are a little bit more. That's not too bad. Now only use a blowtorch if you feel comfortable with one. Otherwise use a little heat gun. The little heat guns are quite easy to get as well. Don't leave the blowtorch in one spot. Move it continuously and just pop these bubbles. And now this part of the blowtorch is very hot. Don't let it touch anything, including yourself. Any plastic, carpet, clothing, it will catch it on fire. Okay, so as you can see, a few little pearls have developed, but this will develop more as I start tilting. So now I'm just going to slowly move it around. Back and forth. So I'm going to go to that corner, down to this corner, without going over. Bring the paint back to the middle. Then I'm going to come down this way. And then bring it over this way. And sometimes you've got to experiment with different colours to see which ones actually are going to show up more better. The pink tourmaline looks like it may be a little bit subtle. Now, I have to grab my corner catcher. Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to. So a corner catcher is just a bit of cardboard that is folded in half that you put there. So when you pour the paint to the corner, it doesn't all pour off and it kind of just catches it a bit. You don't have to use one, but I do find it saves me a little bit of paint. Otherwise, a lot of my pearls go off the edges and then I lose them. But as you can see, I've got the blue coming up. There's pink over here. The rose gold is coming up. The more this gets stretched, the more the pearls will show. So now I'm going to go to this corner with the corner catcher in place. Doesn't have to be fast. You can just go as slow or as fast as you want. And in the corner, and then back out. And then remove this. But only remove this once you've started backing away from the corner. Now we're going to put this in this corner so you can see this one a little bit better. Maneuvering the paint down. Wait till the paint's in the very corner. Move it back. And then take the corner off. And when you maneuver this corner catcher, go around the painting or you'll drop drips into your artwork. And you won't be happy with yourself. Now we're coming along to this other top corner. In the corner we go. Come back. take that away. Now, corner catches will sometimes alter the slight pattern of your artwork. I'm going to bring the paint to the middle and then go to this corner. Alright, into the corner, come back, take that off. Now, before we go too much further, because the corner cat, oh, you little brat. Little midgy fly flew into my painting like they have been continuously lately. They're not being my friends. So now this is done, just make sure that, because the corner catcher was on, make sure that the very, very corners do have paint on them. They should have, because I did the black on the 4 corners. Now, if there's a side that you don't like, pour it off now, because you can't, once you get too many cells develop or pearls develop, it's harder to pour it off. So now I am just dragging the paint back and forth. I'm going to take a little bit of paint off that corner actually. There we go. Bring it down. So what you want to do is you want the paint to rub against each other and cause a little bit of friction. But at the same time, watch the cells that you have already, because they will change shape. And if you tilt it too much, they will start going overly wonky and you might not like the appearance of it. So just watch it while you move everything around a little bit. So I have got pearls in all colours. The pink tourmaline is probably the most subtle. But what's subtle when it's wet may not be subtle when it's dry. Keep that in mind. So now I'm getting to the point where I don't want to stretch too much more, because these ones at the bottom are becoming a little bit, they're going to get too out of shape. So now work out where you want. So this is more my centerpiece, is this part. But you don't have to put your centerpiece in the center. I call it a centerpiece because it's where the middle of the last part of the cup came out. But it does not have to be in the center at all. It is just what people think. Having it off center actually usually causes more interest. So I've said this, oh no, another midgie. They will ruin your pearls. So where I live, it's hot, and I live next to what we call bushland here in Australia, or forest. I live next to a forest, a national park. There's that many insects, it's not funny. There's insects everywhere, and it doesn't matter what I do, they keep appearing. Alrighty, I'm not going to alter this anymore. So now I'm not going to tilt, I'm going to take my gloves off. Oh, and stretch my back. I think I need to get myself a nice little seat where I'm a bit lower. So now I'm going to get the blowtorch out again, which you don't have to do a second time, but I'm just going to get the rest of the bubbles out. But do keep in mind, if you have a bubble that's inside one of your pearls, it will put when it pops the bubble, it kind of makes a little black dot. Okay, they're gone. So I don't know if you can see it here, but where the bubbles popped in this blue, it left a little black dot because the paint underneath that bubble was black. Same with in this gold. That doesn't worry me, but if you don't want that, then don't torch once. Only torch that beginning time. Don't re-torch again later. So this here needs to settle. Pearls develop in time. Not always, but they often do. So I'm going to pause the video and let this kind of settle into itself. These blues, you will notice, will either get bigger or more will pop up. This gold will do the same. I can already see it happening. This, where it's thicker, so this line here coming up there and across there, that will change shape a little bit. And we've got pink over here, but the pink isn't very dominant. There's pink all across the top here, over here, and down the side. It hasn't become very dominant. It's kind of become subtle. So you will notice it more in the heavier blue, not so much the lighter blue, but the heavy blue and the heavy gold, rose gold. These here will just keep swelling, kind of push into each other, change the shape a little bit. I reckon that pink there will a tiny bit. But, so we're going to pause it and leave it for about 5-10 minutes. Beforehand, get your paint scraper and scrape the bottom of the edges, because it will pull your paint off. And it's good for two reasons. One, you're stopping the paint from being pulled off because it will continue to pull your paint to the edge, which means you'll pull your pearls off the edges. But also, what it can do as well, by doing that, now when I come and have a look at it in 5 minutes time, whichever edge has got the drips coming off, I know the whole painting is being pulled that direction. So if it's doing it at this end, I'll put a second pop stick under my tray and lift it a little bit to make it more level. So if your table's not completely level, it's a way to see which side is getting pulled off. If it's happening all sides, that's fine. It's just the paint leveling out. If it's happening one side, it just means your table isn't level and it's pulling it all. And this, all this gold here, and even my centerpiece, which isn't in the center, that will get pulled down and become here instead of being up there. These here will get stretched out and become this big area here. And these here will all get squashed and half will go off the edges. So it's always good to do a scrape, and it allows you to see what's happening with your paint. So I'm going to pause it and we will be back in, I'd say 7-10 minutes at the most. All right, it's been 10 minutes, I'd say. I believe these have just swelled up a little bit and kind of created a little bit more dimension. Even that there did. Not as much, I think, as the blue or the rose gold. But this is what I mean by leaving it a little bit, let it settle into itself. So I'm really pleased with this. The colours have kind of stayed, because I did, see how I layered it, I went black, rose gold, black, pink, black, topaz. Virtually what it has done is it's created sections of the colour. If you wanted to, you could put half the black in, put all three colours into each other, let them mix and blend, and then put the rest of the black on top, and you will get a little bit more of a blend as such. Then we've got a little bit of blue popping up here within the pink. We've got some pink popping up here and up here with the gold. So the colours do blend a little bit when you're doing it this way, but if you put them all in at the same time, they'll all blend a lot more, and kind of, you'll get a little bit more mixed colours all over. Sorry, I talk with my hands a lot if you haven't noticed. I'm really pleased with this. I think this is going to dry really, really nice. When these dry, the pearl colours just kind of pop a little bit more. So there's not too much black. So there's a lot of black when you look at it as a whole, but there's not a lot of just plain black. There's all colours happening all over. Down here, it's a bit more lighter, but there's still pearl colour in there. When here, you've got the solid pearls. Same with here. You've got solid pearls here, but you've got a little bit down here and across here. So this has turned out really good. I'm really pleased. And I now know that this outdoor living works as well. So that gives you more options. If you can't get hold of a certain colour in the metallics, then look to see if the outdoor living has the colour that you want. Because it's not always, especially lately, you can't always get every colour that you want straight away. It's actually been a little bit difficult to get any colours, to be quite honest. So it's been 2020's been a very odd year. I'm going to bring you down for some close-ups. Okay, I just realised this is a 30-minute video. Bit of a long video. Sorry, everybody. But quite an instructional video this one was. So here we go with this blue topaz. Looks a bit silver in the camera, but it's got more of a blue colour to it in real life. Then we've got this awesome rose gold, and you can see the pink tourmaline up above it. Again, both of these colours are more enhanced in real life. The metallics kind of reflect a little bit. And here's the pink tourmaline. And see how it's mixed in with the rose over here. And then it's by itself over there. And same with the pink tourmaline and the blue have kind of combined here to make some cool looking pearls or pebbles, whichever we want to call them. Pebble pearls. I'd like to thank everyone so much for subscribing and watching my videos. It's been wonderful. I love all the comments. I try to reply to everything. Just been really, really busy with Christmas coming up. Work's flat out, and I study, so that's been a little bit busy, but hopefully I'll get to reply to everyone soon. So comment, like, share my videos. Sharing really helps me. New people get to see it and I get new subscribers. And subscribe if you haven't already, because it's really helpful. The more people subscribe, the more people like and share my videos, the more YouTube thinks I'm good enough to promote my videos. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow for another pour. Enjoy your night. Bye.